So I think we should all, as white women, just admit we're jealous of black women's hair.
This is about why would I touch a black woman's hair? Obviously, this is not behavior I do anymore. It's behavior I have shown in the past. Just white people audacity.
I'm very glad that you don't do it anymore, but the answer, I need the answer. Why? I know you said it's white people audacity, but like, as somebody with very curly hair, I've experienced this a lot, and I've never wanted to just walk up to, like, say, somebody with stick straight hair and be like, what's this like? I need to touch it because I've never had it on my head. I don't understand. I still don't get it.
When a black woman steps out into the world, whether in the streets of Tokyo, the markets of Beijing, the caves in Paris, or the neighborhoods of London, people turn heads. Heads turn. People break their necks. I follow her. The eyes follow her. Some stare in admiration. Some stare in admiration. Some stare in confusion. Some stare in envy. And some even dare to reach out as if she were a museum exhibit. Okay? You will see some trying to touch her hair, even without permission. Now, let me say this. Why is that? Why does the presence of blackness demand attention, even in spaces where it is the minority? Why do people act as if they have seen a miracle when really what they are seeing is just simply a black lady, a black woman walking in her natural glow? Family, the truth is simple. There is power behind blackness. Okay? A power that can't be hidden, a power that can't be ignored, a power that can't be erased, power so strong that it shakes the lies. It shakes up the centuries of lies. It shakes up the centuries of whitewashed beauty standards and centuries of conditioning. And this is the power that makes people both admire and fear black people. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I've seen black women walking on the street, recording videos, walking majestically, and you see white people are looking. And I was like, yeah, this is it. Our women are top notch. That is reality. Before I continue, watch these clips here and then we see what to do with it.
Do it again. No chemical, natural. From the roots, From the roots. It's so cute. Thank you. No chemical.
Being black in Thailand.
Look at the surprise and wonder in their eyes.
Thank you. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you too. Okay.
I'm leaving the store, right? And what I noticed was this lady, she came up to me as I'm leaving and she was like, oh my gosh, so beautiful. And I'm like, oh snap. So she reaches out and she touched my hair. And like, I literally just was like, dude, did she just touch my hair? Like, I'm like, I didn't really know how to feel because I'm like not confrontational or anything, but I'm like, dude, like she basically just caught me off guard and everything. But I'm like, she just touched in my hair, y'all. And so then another white lady, she came up beside me and was like, girl, I thought she knew better than that. We know not to do that. And I'm like, dude, like, oh my God. So the white lady apologized for her. But my question is, what do you do in this situation? Like, I ain't want to be mean to them, but dang, like, what did you do? Let me know.
Public service announcement to all black women. The reason why white women stare at you when we're in public is because we're admiring you. We think that you're beautiful. We think your hair is pretty. We think you wear your clothes cool. We think your skin is really beautiful. So that's why we're staring. Nothing else. I know some white women like to get in your business. But some of us, if you catch us staring, that's why. We think you're stunning. Have a beautiful day.
So finally, at least somebody was honest. I respect this white woman that came up and said, we stare at black women because we think you're beautiful. But she did say in her comments that she can recognize that that is not always the case, because y'all don't always just only stare at us. Sometimes y'all glare at us with pure venom, hate, jealousy, and envy. So at least we can agree that sometimes it's admiration. And I always tell y'all that love and hate lives on the same spectrum. Sometimes they love you so much that they start to hate you. It brews into hate, jealousy, and resentment, envy. We always talk about these things. But it's not always because of admiration. Sometimes it literally just be jealousy and obsession. That's what it be. But at least she, you know, she's keeping it real from her perspective. What y'all think about this? But why do they be up in our business though? Like, okay, I get it. You're staring because you admire us. You think we're beautiful. You like our skin. Some of us, you like our hair, whatever. But why do you feel compelled to accost us, come up in our business, try to touch us, ask us questions? What is that part about? Because everybody keeps saying they have black fatigue. Once again, white people cannot have black fatigue. Black people have black fatigue. But they keep saying they're tired of black people. We don't bother y'all. We do not. I don't know any black person that just goes up to random fucking white people saying anything to them. As a collective, we don't do that. We do not give a fuck about what y'all got going on for the most part. Sprella is the Brooklyn way. What y'all think? Is it just admiration?
The biggest reason that I know that white feminism is a real problem is just the perceived threat that so many white women feel from black women just existing. Before I continue, I'm gonna reference myself as attractive. Yes, I know, shocker. I did this before and y'all got on my ass. I don't know what to say, we're gonna keep doing it. But as a black woman, when you like transition from unattractive to being perceived as attractive, you will notice a change in behavior from not only men, but also women, specifically white women. Especially when you don't fit like a certain stereotype that they associate with your race and like what they deem a black woman should act like. It's almost like they don't know how to act with you and they end up, you know, feeling this contempt. They implicitly know that they are the standard. Like they have been socialized to know that. It's been their experience to have men want them of any race. But in that, they also know that whiteness is sort of blankness. And I actually don't mean that in like a mean way. I mean, it is the standard. It's the norm. It is the opposite of exoticism. So in their male-centered minds, they're thinking, yeah, like in majority of cases, I'm going to get the guy. But when they want a little switch up, you know, a change from their usual, that is when women of color, specifically black women, become a big threat. It's like a lot of them sort of know that a lot of girls look like them. A lot of pretty girls look like them. They can never account for the allure of a deviation from that norm. When they see an attractive black woman, it's like, okay, I have to see it. How can I fight against this? I don't have the facilities to fight against this. And to compensate for that, I think that's why we see a lot of like white women try to play into the features of women of color. The style, the slick backs, the lip filler, mannerisms, all of it. Like they want to be able to oscillate between all types of attractiveness, become this sort of like maxed out woman who has every single thing a guy could ever want at any time. Because they are so used to being the standard, they cannot accept someone wanting something different. So they kind of try to like borrow parts of you to become that so that that won't happen again. It's very interesting and it happens more than you would think.
Something disturbing I've heard from black women over and over again is how much white women at work feel this mandate that the black women be their friends. That's insane. Like one of y'all has commented on my videos that your boss makes you hang out with her outside of work because she complained that you weren't a team player. And I've heard about stuff like this in my research. Like, I shit you not, one research participant told me about her white coworker. She was an engineer, so she was a racial and gender minority in her workplace. One of her coworkers like really wanting to know where she lived. Like they were all up in her business. And I shit you not, as I was writing that chapter, I was at a local writing group in DC and I was chatting with a black woman who was there, and I didn't really know her that well. We were just both in the writing group and she didn't know what I was writing, and she was telling me about how like ongoing in her life right now, someone was following her home from work just to know where she lives, like knocking on her door and being like, you live here? And she was like, yes. And she was telling it like laughing, and I was like horrified. The obligation that some people feel to these women's bodies.
So this lady asks, this black lady, are white women really that scared of black women? And I'm going to say yes. And this is my opinion as a white woman who is 53 years old and has lived in the South in Georgia in my entire life. But it's not being scared, but it's a fear. And it's not a physical fear. It is the mental fear. It is what we see in you and what we see you doing and how it challenges us and the fear of that. So we see black women and we see how strong you are. We see you coming together as a community. We see you supporting each other. We see you supporting your community, supporting your families, supporting your children, going out and fighting for your rights, being authentic in your race and in your femininity. Anyway. And we're jealous. I think we're jealous because we would love to be that, I think, and we don't know how to break out of the indoctrination that we have been suppressed by our entire lives. And I'm not giving white women a pass, don't get me wrong, but I know I, and most women have been told, white women have been told our entire lives, be quiet, know your place, be a good girl, don't rock the boat, don't be too much. And when you are any of those things, you are ostracized because you have rocked their boat. And that is what Black women are. You rock our boat, our mental boat, because you challenge us to look at how we are deficient and not living in our truth, and it makes us uncomfortable. And people don't like to be uncomfortable, and it makes us start to question ourselves, and people don't like to question themselves. We would rather live in our little bubble of white supremacy and what we know and comfortableness. I know that's not a word. Than a lot of people would, white women would, rather than challenge themselves to grow and know more, because it's easy. Doing the work is hard. It's really hard. I've been doing the work the past several years, and it's hard. It is hard admitting some truths about yourself and some truths about yourself as a white woman. So yeah, I think that white women are scared of Black women because you challenge us in that way, and a lot of us don't like it. And that's why we fear you. It's because we fear what you make us face.
I have a theory about why Black women and white women are having such a hard time getting along, and it starts with a story. When I first started teaching, I was in a teacher training program with 3 other women. 2 of them were Black and 1 of them was Indian, and we started teaching at the same school, the same grade, at the same time. One of these women, a Black woman, completely excelled. She did so much better than I did at literally everything. Classroom management, her test scores were high. She was excellent at literally everything. And something about her excellence didn't sit right with me. I just didn't feel good about it, and I couldn't figure out why I didn't feel good about it. It was internalized racism, but I didn't know that yet. So I had to sit with this idea of her being better than me and trying to figure out why it didn't feel good and feel comfortable for me. And of course, at the time, I didn't know that I needed to do the work of anti-racism, so I didn't think it was possibly because I could have internalized racism. I had to do a lot of study and thought about myself and what could possibly be making me feel this way about this woman. And here's what I discovered. Most of the media that I had consumed up to that point in my life had white people as the central characters. And the shows and other media that I consumed that had white women at the central characters often had Black women as the side characters. These Black women's role in these movies was to assist the white women, support the white women, advise the white women, but never to rise above the white women. Even shows that were about Black women, like The Help, had white women as the central character and the Black women as supporting characters. So I internalized the idea that Black women were there to support me and to advise me, but not to rise above or become better than me. And that's why when this Black teacher was way better and more talented than me, I felt some kind of way about it. Now, I'd imagine lots and lots more white women have also internalized the same idea, and that's why they feel okay stealing Black women's content and not giving them any credit, because the Black women are just there to advise them anyway. But most Black women are natural leaders. Society has forced them to become leaders, and so we need to step aside and let them lead.
even if it means checking our privilege and letting them lead us.
A white person specifically came up and touched your hair without your consent.
So I'm at my boss's house for a family function he's invited me to. He's got a black family, right? I show up and it's the beginning, right? And then all of a sudden a dog walks in and I'm like, oh my God, a dog. And I'm petting said dog, right? While I'm petting the dog, I feel fingers in my hair of, I don't understand. And I look up and it's a woman talking about how her hair was curly and red. And yes, she cut it now, but it's a little bit different. And hi, my name is whatever, okay? Apparently, no one said anything at the time, but afterwards they told her about herself, that black family, and they apologized to me. But the kicker is, we then told this story to my boss's assistant and some other white lady to tell them like, hey, it's kind of nuts that this happens and people touch her hair. And they said, oh my gosh, that is crazy. But you know what? Your hair is gorgeous. And each took a hand and put their hands in my hair after hearing a story about how that was crazy.
Welcome back. Now, when a black woman walks, she doesn't need to announce. She doesn't need to announce herself, okay? Her melanin announces her. Her hair, whether in braids, whether in twist, whether in locks, whether in afro, or straightened by choice, announces her. Her features announces her. The lips, the nose, the body shape. And these are not just physical traits. These are ancestral imprints of humanity origin or humanity's origin. People stare because something inside of them remembers this is where life began. Okay? You see, scientists, historians, and even genetics knows this truth. Humanity started in Africa, and the very first mothers of humankind looked more like the black women walking in our streets today than anyone else. So when the world looks at blackness, it is not looking at something different. It is looking on beginning. It is looking on its own beginning. They are looking on their own beginning. And that's why the attraction is so intensive. It is so intense. That's why the fascination is so uncontrollable. It is something spiritual, spiritual memory pulling at the roof. But here's the thing. The system never taught people to respect that truth. Even us black people, we don't respect, we don't treat ourselves as important. Instead, it taught them to call it exotic, to label it different, to treat it like trend, like a curiosity. And that's why so many cross the line from admiration into invasion, okay? Thinking they have the right to touch black hair or make comments as if black women exist for entertainment. We are human beings, okay? Black hair is not just hair. Black hair is a crown. You need to know that. You see a black woman walking, you see people touching her, even without her consent, okay? Hair is a crown. I always say that. The afro hair, I see those and I see, wow, this is a crown. Because when people reach out to touch a black woman's braid or hair, afro, they are not just touching hair. They are touching centuries of culture. They are touching centuries of history, creativity, and survival. They are touching the crowns of queens, the styles that carried message in cornrows during slavery, the locks that represented spiritual connections, and afros that symbolized resistance and pride. So their obsession with black hair comes because it refuses to be tamed by Eurocentric rules. Okay? It defies gravity. It shapes itself into patterns and style that no other hair on earth can mimic. It is a living art. That's black hair. So when they stare, when they whisper, when they try to copy the wigs, with the extension, what they are really saying is, I see power and I see beauty that I can't replicate. And deep down, they know it. And they have said, you have heard the videos why they admire. Now, apart from that, let me talk about the melanin and the ancestral glow. A rich skin tone that makes blackness shine under the sun, glow under the moon, and age with grace that others can only dream of. Okay? So when the world stares at black skin, they are staring at something divine. Melanin is protection. Melanin is strength and brilliance. Okay? It absorbs the sun's energy instead of burning under it. Melanin holds the secrets of health. Melanin held the secrets of resistance and endurance. And that's why people both admire and envy it. Why? You will see them spending billions every year on tanning, on skin products, on injections, just to imitate a fraction of what black skin does naturally, okay? And this is where the power shows itself again. What others call different is actually a blueprint. Blackness is not alternative beauty. Blackness is the origin of beauty. You have to know that. And that's why I always tell my black brothers and sisters to love yourself, because you are important. Love yourself. The problem here is admiration often turns into obsession. That's the only problem I see. And obsession always turns into envy. They stare at a black woman with awe, but instead of celebrating her, they reduce her into spectacle, into experiments. They stare at her hair, but instead of respecting her space, they reach out to touch it, like a child touching a toy. They stare at her body, but instead of honoring it, they sexualize it. So you see some white men saying they love black women. It's not because of the beauty or what. It's because, yes, it's the beauty, but they want to sexualize the beauty. That's not true admiration. That is fetish. I call it fetishization, okay? And yet even in fetish, we can still see the truth. Blackness has pulled that no one can deny. Now, it's good to copy. It's good to imitate. But it is bad to copy without credit, okay? Look at the global beauty industry today. Full lips are trendy. Curves are in style. Braids, cornrows, and afros show up in runway modeled by white women, okay? But only to be renamed with fancy titles like boxer braids, skin tanning, lip filters, butt lifts. All attempts is to try to recreate what blackness already carries naturally, okay? So the insult, I get it, where when black women wore the same style and carried these same feathers naturally, they were ashamed, okay? They were ashamed. They were told that they weren't professionals, they weren't beautiful, they weren't acceptable. But the same things are being celebrated when others copy them, okay? So that right there tells you this, everything about the power behind blackness. Because if it wasn't powerful, they wouldn't try to steal it. So hard. They are trying so hard to steal it. Okay? Family. The world can't look away because blackness does what no other presence does. It reveals truths. Okay? When a black woman walks into the boardroom and reveals the lie that beauty must be pale, okay? She reveals that lie that beauty must be pale skin, okay? She revealed the lie that beauty is straight-haired. Beauty is slim. She shows that beauty is diverse, dynamic, and original. So, when black men carry themselves with strength and style, they reveal the lie that power is reserved for whiteness. And they show that power is natural and not manufactured. And that's why the world both loves and fear blackness. Because of what? Because it shakes the very foundation of the systems built to erase it. I said from the start that blackness is origin. How? Beyond hair, beyond skin, beyond features. White people really reacting to when they see blackness is spiritual energy. You see, black people carry a vibration. Blackness is origin. Okay? Everything other call fashionable is our culture. The hairstyle, the music, the dances, the rhythm, the language, it all comes from us. They can mimic, but they cannot create the way we create. They can copy, but they cannot carry the ancestral energy that we carry. And that's why I say blackness has a spiritual dimension, okay? Beyond hair, the skin, the features, black people carry a vibration. Black people carry a frequency that is Asian, that is divine and unshakable, okay? It is the same vibration that created jazz, created blues, created hip-hop. It is the same vibration that created reggae and Afrobeat. It is the same vibration that makes us move in rhythm, laugh with death, and love with intensity. The energy cannot be bottled. Energy cannot be duplicated. Energy cannot be manufactured in the lab. It is ancestral and it is divine. And that's what people sense when they stare. That's what people sense when they look at black people. They don't have the word for it, but their spirit feels it. And that is our power. It is life and it is the origin. Now, I usually say this. When the world looks at black people, they are not just seeing an individual. They are seeing historic walking, okay? They are seeing the descendants of the first human beings, and they are seeing the survivors of slavery, colonization, Jim Crow, just name it. So blackness carries a history that is both painful and triumphant. When a black woman walks confidently in her natural beauty, she is carrying the strength of her ancestors. Okay? The same ancestors who braided rice grains into their hair before being taken on slave ships, so their children could eat in captivity. She is carrying the boldness of queens like Nefertiti and Nzinga. Okay? These are queens who ruled with wisdom and power long before Europe knew what civilization even was. So when they stare at you, they are not just staring at beauty. They are staring at survival. They are staring at resilience. They are staring at the history or the story that refuses to die. And that is the power behind blackness. You cannot erase it. You cannot bury it. You cannot silence it. Okay? It will come through you generation after generation. And you see, for centuries, they were conditioned to believe that their features were standard of beauty. Okay? Black people were told they are not beautiful. Even if when they are going to look for jobs, black and white, there was this inequality. Okay? You are given a job on how pale you are. On magazines, billboards, advertisement, black women were not put there. But when they encounter blackness in the natural glory, that conditioning is challenged. Okay? Suddenly they see full lips, they see natural beautiful, they see a skin that glows under the sun, they see hair that bends, curls, and they defy gravity. They see bodies with natural curves that embody strength and femininity. Okay? And psychologically, it makes them, or it forces them to ask questions like, have we been lied? Or it is beauty bigger than what we were told? And that's why the staring is so intense. Okay? They are not just looking with their eyes, but they are wrestling with their minds. I see the obsession with black hair, Black hair is not just style, it is always a statement, whether braided, twisted, it is a statement. So there is this obsession with a black mind. Now, I'll say this. I need you to feel this deeper. Blackness is not just physical, it's a spiritual light. Okay? Every culture, light draws attention. Fire draws eyes. The sun makes people stop and stare. And that is what it is happening when a black woman steps into the world. She is not just walking, she is radiating. Okay? And the world feels it. Even if they don't understand it, they feel it. That's why bubbles stare at black faces with wonder. That's why strangers ask questions they don't even know how to phrase. That's why others try to copy because they think if they look like us, they can carry our energy. Okay? But energy is not cosmetic. It is soul. It is ancestry. It is a divine connection. And that is the only power. Not only, that is the power that is behind blackness. Okay? We have something I call global shift. And it's already happening. Okay? Once, they only stared at black women as objects of curiosity. But now, more and more, they are forced to recognize black people as leaders of inspiration. From music, fashion, all the way. So I'll say this. As a black woman, as a black person, we need to embrace our blackness. Okay? We need to embrace it, to protect it, and celebrate it. And to every black woman out there who feels the stares, know this. They are staring because you are powerful. Okay? They are staring because you are magnetic. They are staring because you are the origin. They are staring because you are their mother. So don't worry. Just love it, embrace it. Now, I see the beauty products. I came to realize this. A lot of these beauty products, for example, for lightening, skin lightening, was put there so that because you cannot love who you are, you need to add your beauty. I think that's the reason. I always say, don't fall for it. You are beautiful naturally. Until next episode, peace out.